Biggest NHL Busts, Rick DiPietro. Drafted first overall by the New York Islanders in the 2000 NHL Draft, DiPietro was seen as the franchise's savior. High expectations were placed on his shoulders to lead the Islanders back to prominence. But DiPietro's career was impacted significantly by numerous injuries. Rick DiPietro's career is a classic case of unrealized potential. While he possessed undeniable talent, injuries and external pressures derailed his path to becoming a truly elite goaltender. In this episode of Biggest NHL Busts, I will be spotlighting Rick DiPietro, who was the first overall pick of the New York Islanders in 2000. The hype around Rick DiPietro leading up to the 2000 NHL Draft was immense. He was considered a generational talent, a goaltender with exceptional athleticism, and a competitive drive that sets him apart. His dominant performance at Boston University, including a legendary 77 save performance, further fueled the speculation about his potential. The media and fans alike were captivated by the young goaltender, and expectations were sky high. Rick DiPietro was selected as the first overall pick by the New York Islanders in the 2000 NHL Entry Draft. This made him the second goaltender in NHL history to be chosen with the top overall pick, after Michael Placey in 1968. The Islanders had high hopes for DiPietro, and the pressure to succeed was immense from the moment he was drafted. To add to the enormous pressure on his shoulders, Islanders GM Mike Milbury traded goaltender Roberto Luongo to create room for the highly touted DiPietro. DiPietro's NHL debut was widely anticipated, but 20 games into the 2000-2001 season, he had managed just 3 wins against 15 losses for a struggling Islanders team. He was called up permanently in the 2003-2004 season, where he had a 23-18-5 record and led his team to the playoffs with a 2.36 GAA and .911 save percentage. DiPietro played well in the postseason, despite his team losing in the first round. He posted a 2.18 GAA and .906 save percentage that postseason. On September 12, 2006, DiPietro signed a 15-year, $67.5 million contract with the Islanders, topping former teammate Alexei Yashin's contract signed before the start of the 2001-2002 season of 10 years. On March 13, 2007, DiPietro suffered a concussion after a collision with Montreal Canadiens forward Steve Biggin, when DiPietro raced out to poke check the puck at the blue line at 15:41 of the first period. DiPietro returned for 4 games and then missed the rest of the season after he had sustained another concussion in a game against the Rangers. The concussion was just the start of a string of injuries, as DiPietro underwent surgery in the 2007 offseason to fix a torn labrum in his hip. DiPietro was selected to appear in his first and only All-Star game in 2008 as a reserve, but was later named the starter after New Jersey Devils goaltender Martin Brodeur dropped out. During the All-Star skill competition the night before, DiPietro injured his hip during the shootout competition. DiPietro continued to play until the Islanders no longer had a chance to make the playoffs. On March 19th of 2008, it was announced that DiPietro would miss the remainder of the 2007-2008 season because of hip surgery. On June 3rd, 2008, DiPietro underwent surgery on his meniscus in his left knee, and he sat out the first 4 games of the 2008-2009 season, or controversially was left on the bench as the backup, before starting the team's 5th game of the season against Florida. He played only 2 games after that before leaving in the first period of his first game back. And on November 1st, it was announced that DiPietro had undergone another knee surgery after injuring his meniscus. On January 20th, 2009, Islanders GM Garth Snow announced that DiPietro would miss the rest of the 2008-2009 season due to post-arthroscopic surgical swelling in his right knee. DiPietro had only played in 8 games of the 2009-2010 season before missing the rest of the season with swelling in his left knee. DiPietro started the 2010-2011 season apparently healthy. However, on December 21st of 2010, he was placed on IR due to knee swelling. 8 games into the 2011-2012 season, he had injured his groin and was out indefinitely. He later required surgery to repair a hernia in the area, sidelining him for the remainder of the season. After playing in only 3 games during the lockout-shortened 2012-2013 season, DiPietro was waived by the Islanders and was sent to their AHL affiliate, the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. He had 8 years remaining on his NHL contract. On July 1st of 2013, the Islanders announced that Rick DiPietro would be placed on unconditional waivers and have the remainder of his contract bought out on compliance. The buyout was completed 2 days later, with DiPietro agreeing to be paid 2/3 of the $36 million he was owed over the next 8 years at the rate of $1.5 million per year over the next 16 years. Why is Rick DiPietro a bust? Perhaps the most significant factor in DiPietro being labeled a bust is his injury history. DiPietro suffered numerous injuries throughout his career, which severely limited his playing time and consistency. His consistency is another reason why DiPietro is a bust. When healthy, DiPietro showed flashes of brilliance, but he was unable to maintain a high level of consistent play. His 15-year deal, signed in 2006, was seen as exorbitant for a goalie with a history of injuries. This contract became a symbol of the Islanders' financial mismanagement. Was it fair for Rick DiPietro to be labeled a bust? But because of his draft expectations and his expensive contract, he did not live up to those expectations. When healthy, DiPietro had solid stats, but he just was not consistent enough, and he was injured far too often to be relied upon to live up to his draft expectations. The Islanders had high hopes for DiPietro, and the pressure to succeed was immense from the moment he was drafted. Unfortunately, a combination of injuries and other factors prevented him from fully realizing his potential.